Good afternoon, dear students. Previous class we learnt about waves and the effect of that waves, especially if suppose if earthquake take place inside the ocean, and that affects especially the tsunami and all those things we are discussing. Now I would like to tell. So many of you are thinking, sir, this waves why used to call as a tsunami. See, of course, how this word is derived, what is the meaning of tsunami. So, usually while writing it is text, it is like that. So, T also there, it is actually a Japanese word. Tsunami is a Japanese word. Understood. See, tsunami, please make it clear. It is a Japanese word, so that means harbor waves. Harbor waves. Harbor waves. So here actually, sorry, why this used to called a harbor waves? No, because as the harbors get destroyed whenever there is a tsunami. So that's what these waves were used to called as harbor waves. That means because whenever there is a tsunami in Japan, in Japan, so the harbors are get destroyed. So that's what in Japanese language they were used the word tsunami. Okay, so it is a Japanese word that means harbor waves. Why they were called harbor waves? No, because whenever there is tsunami in Japan, the harbors get destroyed. So that's what they were used to call as a tsunami. Okay, and today's class we are going to learn about tides. Tides. See, the rhythmic rise and fall of ocean water twice in a day, it's called a tide. Understood now? ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ಏರಿಳಿತಗಳು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಉಬ್ಬರ ವಿಳಿತ, ಸಮುದ್ರದ ಉಬ್ಬರ ವಿಳಿತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಉಬ್ಬರ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಳಿತ. So this used to call the rhythmic rise and fall of ocean water twice in a day. It is called a tide. ಇದನ್ನ ಉಬ್ಬರ ವಿಳಿತ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. See, it is a high tide when water covers much of the shore by rising to its highest level. It is in the highest level. And it is a low tide. So it is high tide and low tide. High tide and low tide. See here, so it is high tide when water covers much of the shore by rising to its highest level. See, dear students, there is two types. One is high tide and the another one is low tide. See, it is high tide when the water covers much of the shore by rising to its highest level. And when it's a low tide, no, when water falls to its lowest level and recedes from the shore. So that used to called as the low tide. If it is go very high, it is considered as a high tide, and that goes very low, that considered as a low tide. See, the strong gravitational pull exerted by the sun and the moon. See, this you have to. This may very amazing for you. The strong gravitational pull exerted by the sun and the moon on the earth's surfaces cause the tides. So this is what the main reason why the tide causes on the earth's surface, because of the strong gravitational pull exerted by the sun and as well as the moon. So because of the strong gravitational pull exerted by the sun and the moon on the earth's surface, that causes the tides. See, the water of the earth closer to the moon gets pulled under the influence of the moon's gravitational force and causes high tide. And causes high tide. So high tide, it's actually a reason for the moon. So the water of the earth closer to the moon gets pulled under the influence of the moon's gravitational force and causes high tide. So during the full moon, especially day students, during the full moon days, during the full moon and new moon days, the sun and the moon and the earth are in the same line. This please keep in your mind. During the full moon day and during the new moon days, full moon days and new moon days, the moon and the sun and the earth are in the same line and the tides are highest. The tides are because it is all these three objects, the sun, the moon and the earth is in the same line. So that's what. So during the full moon days and during the new moon days, so the tides are very highest. And these tides are called as spring tides. These tides are called as spring tides. So which are actually especially during full moon days and new moon days. But when the moon is in its first and last quarter, so please listen carefully. When the moon is in its first and last quarter, the ocean waters get drawn in diagonally opposite directions by the gravitational pull of sun and moon, that resulting in low tides. So once again I would like to repeat. When the moon is in its first and last quarter, the ocean waters get drawn in diagonally opposite directions. In opposite directions by the gravitational pull of sun and moon. Opposite directions. Now what happened now? When the gravitational pull of sun and moon resulting, in the opposite direction, so in low, that causes low tides. So these are tides are called, and these tides, the tides are called neap tides. So these tides are called neap tides. So spring tides and neap tides. So high tides help in navigation. They raise the water level close to the shores. This helps the ships to arrive at the harbor more easily. So this is what the advantages of the high tides. So the high tides help in navigation. They raise the water level. They raise the water level and close to the shores. So this helps to ships arrive at the harbor more easily. The high tides also help in fishing also. So these are the some of the advantages of the high tides. The high tide helps in fishing also, and many more fish come closer to the shore during the high tide. So this enables fishermen to get a plentiful catch. They can catch very easily a plenty of fishes. The rise and fall of water due to tides is being used to generate electricity in some places. See, the rise and fall of water due to tides is being used to generate even electricity also in some of the places. So these are some of the advantages of the high tides. So once again, I would like to repeat. So the high tides are helps in a navigation, and they rise the water level close to the shores, and this helps the ships to arrive at the harbor more easily, and the high tides also help in fishing. Many more fish come closer to the shore during the high tide, and this enables fishermen to catch, to get plenty full, the maximum of the fishes. And the rise and fall of water due to tides is being used to generate electricity also in some of the places. Now let us discuss about ocean currents. Ocean currents. Now I hope you all of you got how the high tides are held. Now let us discuss about ocean currents. See, ocean currents are streams of water flowing constantly on the ocean surface in a definite directions. Getting now? So the ocean currents are streams of water. The ocean currents are streams of water flowing constantly on the ocean surface in a definite directions. So the ocean currents may be warm or cold. There are the two types of the ocean. So it may be warm or cold also. So generally, the warm ocean currents originate near the equator. So please keep in your mind. Originally, I mean, so generally the warm ocean currents originate near the equator and move towards the poles. So these are warm ocean currents which are originate near the equator and move towards the poles. And the cold currents carry water from polar or higher latitudes to tropical or lower latitudes. So please keep it in your mind. Once again, I would like to repeat. The cold ocean currents carry water from polar or higher latitudes to tropical or lower latitudes. See, the Labrador Ocean current is cold current, while the Gulf Stream is a warm current. These are the example for cold current and warm current. The Labrador Ocean current is a cold one, and the Gulf Stream is a warm current. The ocean current influence the temperature condition of the area. So the ocean current influence the temperature condition of the area. Warm currents brings about warm temperature over land surface. So please keep in your mind the warm currents. So the warm currents bring about warm temperature over land surface, and the areas where the warm and cold currents meet provide the best fishing grounds of the world. So please once again, so where the areas The warm and cold currents meet provide the best fishing grounds of the world. Seas around Japan and the eastern coast of North America. So these are the best examples where the both warm and cold currents meet and provide the best fishing grounds of the world. So these are the best fishing grounds of the world. So such as seas around Japan and the eastern coast of North America. See, the areas where a warm and cold current meet also experience foggy weather, making it difficult for navigation. So this is what the another problem. So there is the advantage also and there is a disadvantage also. The areas where a warm and cold current meet together, so that also experience foggy weather. So this foggy weather making it difficult for navigation. It's too difficult for navigations. Understood? No. So it is about a brief inscriptions. I mean the brief explanation for the ocean currents. I hope, dear students, so in this chapter we are able to know about the water and the availability of the water on the surface of the earth, and also we learned with complete data the distribution of water bodies also. Then we came to know that about 97.3% of the saline water which where we can see in only the oceans, and remaining the 2.7% only the fresh water, and that only 1% of the water is available to use, because the remainings are it's in the form of what we call the ice caps, and then the salt lakes, and even in the atmosphere also, and so on. So and we learned about the ocean circulations, and by studying that we are able to know about the conservation and necessity to while using very water very carefully. And also we learned about waves, and with the example of the effect of a tsunami which was taken place in 26th December 2004. And also we learned about tides and the ocean currents. I hope, dear students, you are able to know about all these things. And if you have any doubts regarding this chapter, so please call me and then try to clear your doubts. Okay. Thank you. Have a nice day.